Keys to success number 126. It is spring. It's the beginning of April here in Reno, Nevada, and things are budding. And so we're going to be talking about environmental allergies, particularly since I have them. And so it's that time of year where people are going to start asking about them. I'm going to start asking about them. And so we'll share a little bit about what we do in a more, maybe from a sophisticated point of view, or from a functional medicine point of view. And then I can share with you some of the things that I do that are very successful and have proven to be very successful for, I would say, almost all of the people that I've shared this with. And they're more like home remedies that may or may not be commensurate with your values of what you're willing to do to get the allergy symptoms under control. So a patient comes in and they're in our program, and our program is all about autoimmunity. It seems inevitably that's what walks in the door, and now they're getting histamine responses to screw up everything that you've been doing with them for the last 2 or 3 months. And Dr. Gates goes, crap, and then goes, what?
I may shift you onto a low histamine diet. We may look at, your histamine or your ability to break down histamine in your gut. Definitely would look to see if you're still on any goat or sheep cheese products, because those will foster histamines. And then talk to you, if you're having environmental sensitivities, talk to you about doing things like a neti pot. Neti pots are so simple, but they really, in my experience, really everybody seems to agree on it, that they flush out a lot of these allergens, pathogens from the sinus cavities. That also helps.
So what if you have a patient like me who goes, but I live on goat's milk and pickles and kimchi and kombucha, all of which create histamine responses in you. And they're all sitting in my refrigerator. And I was at a Easter dinner this Sunday and had to pass on a dinner that was made specifically for me, I think, kind of. At least that's what I was informed of. Because it had cheese in it that I knew would create a mucus effect. And then for me, I create mucus and I can't go to sleep. So old wives' tale. So basically, I do part of what Dr. Gates talks about. Not exactly, but kind of relative to the histamine diet. I just basically get off of everything I've become aware of in the last 20 years that create a mucus or inflammatory response in my system. I'm pretty sensitive. For those of you who may not have ever seen us or don't know my story, I have autoimmunity, and I have Hashimoto's, and I have confirmed celiac and small fiber neuropathy and all these things. So I have a lot of markers. If I do something, I might get a little tingling, or I might get mucus, or I might get a fluish type of a feel or something like that. So I just take everything out. It's probably close to the histamine diet now that I'm thinking about it, because I don't eat those things during that period of time. So I find the diet to be huge. I mean, I get anally pristine on my diet. Like I almost don't eat at this point. I do a lot of shakes. I do a lot of shakes. I eat vegetables. I mean, I'm a vegetarian, but I mean, I really, it's almost like I go on a fast during this early period of time that I get the allergies. I don't use histamines, antihistamines. I can't take them. They make me sick. I go into a coma, like they put me to sleep. I can't wake up. I can't think, so I don't do that. Here's what I do. So I don't use a neti pot, but I'm going to tell them I use a neti pot. I put the salt water into my nose. So for those of you who like the burning in the back of your throat, and then maybe the dripping in the back of your throat and the back of your nasal passage, and this salt water, whether you use the neti pot or whether you put it in your hand and go like this, however you get it in there, if it gets in there, and it literally will heal those tissues like pretty rapidly. If you do them a couple of times a day, I do it every day. Literally within 2 days, that feeling is usually gone. Sometimes within the first 1 or 2 times I do it. And then here's the other thing I do. This is where your sensibilities may come into play. My wife has a cousin who is an anesthesiologist from Amsterdam, the Netherlands. I do that because people think people are smarter if they're not from here. It's like when they come to us, they go, I saw you guys online, and I was going to go to you wherever you were, and you were here. Like for the people who are here in Sparks and Reno, you know, it's like, what are you doing here? So we're here. And here we use an onion because the lady from Amsterdam told me to use an onion. And I thought that she was kidding. She's an anesthesiologist, but very oriented towards natural remedies. And she said, Martin, she has this English accent. And she said, cut the onion. And she says, and you place it under your bed. I put it on the nightstand next to my bed. And she said, and just let it waft through the air, and then you'll feel much better. Now, so I thought she was making fun of me, so I didn't do it. And then a couple days later, she asked me how I was doing. I said, I didn't do that. I thought you were joking. I say that because a lot of you might think I'm joking when I say this, okay? Because I have patients who think I'm joking when I tell them. So I cut the onion. I put it in half. This 2 nights ago, I actually did some yard work Friday afternoon. Always like kills me because all the stuff comes up, the pollen comes up. And by that night, my eyes were burning. I was blowing my nose, so I was raw in here, raw on my lips, all that type of stuff. The onion, the chemical in the onion as you sleep, and I put it right next to my bed. You'll literally feel it burning a little bit. You'll feel it burning in the areas that are damaged. And for me, within a couple of days of doing that onion, it will heal all those tissues. Now, I can't speak to the chemistry of it, but usually if I do that in the beginning of allergy season, the very first time I ever did it, when my wife's cousin told me that, I had the worst allergies ever in the history of the world. I mean, I could not sleep. I was sneezing all the time. It was awful. I mean, I was coughing, so I was coughing ribs out of place. I had a bad headache from coughing, all that type of stuff. So I basically used that for like a month. But you know what? I never needed to use it again, you know, during that whole period of the summer or the fall or anything like that. And I realized that spring's the worst. But now I use it sometimes for a couple of days. Maybe I use it for a week, and then I'm done. And then usually I'm okay for the rest of the allergy types of seasons for this year, for that particular year. I don't know why it has such a long-lasting effect, but it does. So it's so when I would tell people to do this in the days when I was back treating people, they thought I was joking. A lot of them really did think I was joking, and then they would go and do it. And inevitably, almost invariably, people would come back and go, I can't believe it, it works. It really works. If you don't mind having a stinky onion in your bedroom. And then people say, what type of onion and how long and how big? It's like, just cut an onion. Okay, I use white onions and I use purple onions. I cut them in half, and then at night, I actually bag them back up after in the morning, and I put them back in the refrigerator, and then I take the same onion out and I cut it again. And I keep doing that every day until I chop it up, and usually it's rare that I go through 2 onions. But it works, it really works. And so for me, I'm in an allergic situation right now. I'm a little foggy from the histamine effect. And so there's a few histamine supplements that you may be able to take out there. I may or may not take one of them depending on how this goes for the next couple of days. My main thing is when I'm doing the consults, I need to be clear. I'm not totally clear, but I'm probably 70% clearer than I was when we were talking last night. And so don't poo-poo this. It works. But if you don't want to have a stinky onion, or if your husband or your wife doesn't like stinky onions, then that's okay. Then don't do it. But I'm telling you, it works. If you do it in combination with the diet, and you do it in combination with the neti pot, it's something that's worked for me for 18, 20 years now. And probably 18 years now. 19 years, something like that. And so I highly recommend it. Don't make fun of me. It works. Sometimes simple is better, and that's the alternative, natural, ancient methods, a way of controlling your allergies that we have seen work pretty consistently across the board. All right. So there's your sophisticated key for success of the week.
We'll see you back next week for 127.
Okay.